Di here from Diane, and welcome to the last video for September. Wow, where has that time gone? Well, this week this is the card we're going to be making, and it's called a pocket bridge card. Now, this was my very first one, and I thought that this was way too big. I didn't like the length of this. I thought it was like, I don't know, to me it was just a little bit bulky, but that was my very first one. See, it doesn't really sit that far off the ground, off the bench top, whatever. So when I redid it, I made it smaller on the inside. So this section here is now a bit smaller and sits up more like a bridge. As you can see, if I put it down like that, you can see there's a lot bigger gap here. So this is the style we're going to be making today. But if you wanted to do it with the longer one, all you have to do is change the length here. But I actually think it looks better smaller. It shows the inside of the card more than that one does. This one, you lose a lot in the background. So this is the one we're going to make like this, and I'm going to be using some new products. So let me show you what we're going to be using. We're going to be using this set called Peaceful Season, which is all lovely sayings, and we're using the Christmas, and what else am I using? Peace and Joy, and Hope in the Season is Bright and Beautiful, and this one here, Friends and Family are the True Gifts of Christmas. So this actually comes with some beautiful dies, which I'll show you. So we're using this die, this Christmas die here. But look, this beautiful die, and this one here, you could put on the angle and thread some ribbon through it, or even that one there you could. So I reckon they're absolutely lovely, but I'm not going to be using those ones today. We're using the Christmas out of that set. And then the other set that I'm using is this set, and I'm actually using the dies and the paper. So I didn't bring the paper over. This is a lovely die set. So we're just going to be using the holly leaves and the holly berries out of this set here. But I am using some of the paper, which is the same thing. And if you give me 5 seconds, I will just grab the paper. There we go. There's the paper. Oh, not the light shining on that. Dreadful, isn't it? This paper is called Reindeer Days, the same as the stamp set, which is called Reindeer Fun. Reindeer Fun is the dies and the stamps. Reindeer Days is the paper. So this is the paper we're using. It's just got trees on the back and more trees and a few reindeers on the front. Let's pop that bit out of the way so you can see this beautiful paper here. Let me move that light a little bit, see if that makes any difference. It doesn't today. So this is a beautiful paper. This one's, I love that green, but then green's my favourite colour, with all the presents on the back. This paper here is really pretty with the little reindeers in their wreaths, and then we've got holly on the back. Now I'm using a different holly paper, not this holly paper, which is another set that is an online exclusive. This one with the little reindeers all jumping around and like lights on the back, that's pretty too. Then we have this one, and the dies match some of these. Dies match these jumping ones here, and this one here, I think it is, and then that's really pretty and nice for a man's card. And then the one that we're using now. So, and then that one there, which is so cute with the bells on the back. So that's the paper, and it's a really pretty paper, and that's current. That's in the new mini catalogue, so which is out now. So that's really great. So let's pop that out of the way. And those cards out of the way there, in case we need them again. And we'll go through what we need. Now I've done a little bit of the work because there's a little bit of repetition, so I've actually done some of it already. So you're going to need, and I've done, as I say, I've done one already, so you're going to need 2 main card pieces that measure 5 7/8 by 4 1/8. Then you're going to need 2 pieces of layer 1, which measure 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, one for the front and one for the back. Then you're going to need 2 pieces of designer series paper, so one I'm going to use one side and one I'm using the other, and these measure 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. So let's pop that one that way and that one that way, so we know that they're the right way around. For my bridge, you're going to need a piece. Now I've marked this as a B there because I've actually done my markings on the side here. So this piece here measures 11 3/4 by 4 1/8. So, and I've done a little bit of the other stuff as well. So let's pop these out of the way here. So for my bridge, you're going to need 2 pieces of card that measure, for the sides, that measure, I can't read that from that distance, what am I doing? 2 5/8 by 3 3/4. So I've already cut one, ready. And then you need 2 pieces of designer series paper that measures 2 3/8 by 2 3/8 by 3 1/4. And then for the middle section here, which I've stuck one together already, you're going to need 2 pieces that measure 2 5/8 by 3 7/8, and 2 pieces, and this is the other paper, I can't remember the name of that, I will try and get that in a minute and show you. This piece measures 2 3/8 by 3 5/8. For my writing panel on the back, which goes on the back of one of these, like so, it will go on the back one like that way, sorry. This measures 4 3/4 by 3 inches. For my tags, now I've done one tag. You're going to need 2 pieces of that measure 3 3/4 by 2 inches, and 2 pieces that measure 3 1/2 by, and I've got the wrong measurement there, 1 3/4. No, I haven't got the, that's not right. That's 2 3/4. Let me change that. I knew that that one was going to be wrong. 2 3/4. Let me do this. 2 3/4 by 1 3/4 on each. There we go. I've got that right, and I will reprint that before it goes live. So that goes on there. Or if you're going to do this like as a full length and you're just going to round the corners, then that would be 2 3/4 by 3 1/2. And then you'll need 2 pieces of ribbon, and I'm sorry I've gone a bit all over the place today, that measure 6 inches or approximately. Now these are my bits for the front. I've done one of the hollies with the berries, and we'll do the other one together. I've also done the Christmas like so, because it was a little bit fiddly because of, you know, you've got to glue one piece on top of the other. So I've actually done all that in advance. So let's get on with our card, shall we? Let's pop them out of the way. And we're going to start with popping these pieces together. So I've already done one. So with your main card piece and your layer 1 and 2, you're going to glue those together. Get off my finger, and glue them one to the front of that card, main card piece, and one to the back of it. So just making sure, if you've got a directional paper like I do, that you get it the right way. So we need to turn it over and bring these ones in. This time I'm going to put the glue on this side because I want the Christmas tree showing on the inside. So that of my front and my back of my card, and they're excuse me, they are identical. We need the two pieces that have the opposite to match on the inside, and the two pieces on the outside that will match. So let's pop them out of the way for a minute, and let's bring in my bridge piece of card. So with my bridge piece of card, I need my scoreboard. And I have marked this with a B at the bottom for the simple reason that when I'm putting these things together, it will be easier for me because of cutting left and right. So we're going to pop this in here, and we're going to score this at 2 7/8 using the small ball, 5 7/8, and 8 7/8. So 2 7/8, 5 7/8, and 8 7/8. We're now going to actually pop this into here with the B at the bottom up against our left hand sides, so we can mark this at the 2-inch mark. No, I've marked that at 2 1/4. That's not really good, is it? 2-inch mark from the bottom up. So that was not very clever when I did that. That's the bottom, and it should be, where's my rule, my thingy, cut them off, move them off there, and we're going to mark that at 2 inches there, and then I'm going to turn it around this way, and I'm going to have to measure this at 2 1/8 of an inch because this is 4 1/8, which will give me, if I pop that up against the 7-inch mark, it's at the 5-inch mark. So that's correct. Yes, like so. Alright, once I've done that, I'm now going to bring in my trimmer, and I'm going to cut away from that 2-inch mark. That wasn't a very, look at that, I really made a mess on that side. From that 2-inch mark up to that score line. So we're going to just fold that score line so you can see it better. So we're going to bring it up, and we're going to cut that off on an angle from that score line down to that 2-inch mark. So we've got a piece cut off like that, and we're going to do the same on the other side. So let's fold that so you can see it easier. From that mark to the 2-inch mark. Like so. Then we can just rub those tiny pencil marks off. So that's why it's good to have that mark to the bottom. So when you're ready to cut these sections, you know that that's the 2 inches from the bottom. So let's pop this out of the way for a moment, and we're going to bring this back in, and we're going to fold this like, where's the thing so you can see, like so. So we're going to fold this as valley, making sure that it's nice and straight along the bottom. Oh, can't find my tools. Mountain and a valley. You will notice that these two on the outside are a tiny bit shorter than the ones on the inside. Now that is how it's supposed to be. So let's pop this piece out of the way, and we're going to move these. We don't want these pieces, so we'll throw those in the bin for now. And we're going to bring in our sides and throw them all over the floor like I just did. Oh dearie me. Okie dokie. So with these sections in the middle, they're going to fit in there beautifully, so we're not going to worry about those. And I'm going to just rub that off there at the bottom there, because I don't need that there now. There we go. So we're going to glue those pieces together and pop them in the centre like so. So let's glue this one to this. Been a few weeks since I've done any videos, because I was a little bit ahead because I knew I had visitors coming to stay with me for a couple of weeks, and I feel like I've got a bit out of touch at the moment. Now again, if you've got directional, please make sure you get your direction the correct way up. If you're like me and you don't, then with my centre section, that's fine. Okay, so what I did, as I didn't glue this one together, I put a B at the bottom of this one, and what I did is let me turn the page, there we go over there you. I measured up from the bottom on this one, on the right hand side, okay, and I measured up 1 7/8, and then I measured up on my piece of designer series paper from the bottom 1 3/4 of an inch, and I cut them on an angle up to the top corner. So I did that, and we can remove those marks so they don't get seen. That's that. And we know that that one goes on there like so, and into that section there. This one, we do exactly the same. So on this one, I measured up from the bottom 1 7/8 of an inch, and then I bring in my scoreboard. So from the bottom edge, I measured up 1 7/8 of an inch. I can't do that off that edge, so I actually did it off of this edge. So I did 1 7/8 of an inch up from the bottom, placed a mark there, and then I've drawn a line so I know that I've got to go across on an angle like so. Because this is on the opposite side, this will be this way around. So when I've done this one, I did it on the back, not on the front. So I measured up 1 3/4 of an inch. If I did that, I didn't measure it very well, did I? 1 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. And if I turn it over, it's going to be the right way. So I have measured that from the wrong end. Let's rub that off. And we'll do that again. So we've got to measure up from the bottom. This is the bottom line. 1 3/4 of an inch. And we're doing this one on the back because we did the other one on the front. If we do one on the back and one on the front, we will get them both the correct way. Like so. Now if I'd have done them both on the front, I would have had to do one on one side and one on the other. By doing it that way, one on the front and measuring up, and one on the back and measuring up, I get the same result. And it's just a tiny bit easier. It is if I draw the lines in the right place. So then we're going to glue those together. and glue them onto our pieces like so. And we have one on the left, and because I drew on the back of that, and I also, because these are actually shorter than the middle ones, I put an S in the middle of these so I knew that they were sides. So sides, middle. This piece here is shorter. It's not by much, but it's shorter. So if you'd have left that and you hadn't done, put the S on in the middle so that you know that it's the side, you could actually cut the wrong piece. So by putting them in the middle, it just makes it easier for you to see what you are cutting and not cut the wrong piece and then have to cut another piece of card to make it right. Okay, so let's turn that over and give that a good whiz through. So now we're going to need, and I'm going to pop the pin in my glue because it's a bit of a funny day out there at the moment. We're going to turn this over and we're going to pop double-sided tape around here and here, here and here like this. So let's do that. I've got my double-sided tape here. So I'm going to put a piece on this side, a piece on this side, and a bit along the bottom. We don't want any across this top edge. So we're going to do the same on this end. A bit on this side. A bit on this side. And without sticking it to the table, piece along the bottom. Okay, so I find it easier to give this a nice rub down now so that it sticks really good on the back of these. It also helps it to stick better on the rest of the card. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull one side off. So it doesn't matter whether you do the back one or the front one first, just making sure that when you open your card piece, whichever one you're going to do, which I'm going to do this back one first, it's just easier for me. I'm going to pop those three off. And we're going to place this into our card. So I will bring this so you can see. So that there is a gap down this side here. Oops, sorry, down this side here. About my finger width, which is about 3/4 of an inch across. Alright, so we'll pop that up there for a moment. And we can pop that there. And I want that to be the back. So I'm folding this up. And I'm going to pop this in here so that I've got it evenly top and bottom and about 3/4 of an inch. So it's virtually even, right virtually in the middle of the card. Once I'm happy with that, I can close that up and give that a nice push down with my bone folder. But we're going to take the other side off. So we've got this all folded up now. So we've got our pocket here, fold, fold, and our other pocket's just here. And pull this side off. Now to line this one up, this is really, really easy. We need to make sure that we've got this side and facing the right way, like that's correct orientation. We're going to bring this up like this and we're going to line it up along that bottom edge so that we know that it's right. And before we push it together, we're going to make sure that it's lined up along the sides and the top, like so. Once we're happy with that, we can push that down nice and tightly and we can pop. And we have our pockets and our bridge. What do you think? That's just absolutely quite easy to do. It's a little bit of a bulkier card, but it is a lovely card and is now sitting down nicely. So let's pop that out of the way for a moment, and we're bringing in our 2 tags. Now I've done one, so I have a corner rounder here and a punch that is actually retired. It's called a scalloped tag topper. So I'm going to use this because I actually thought it was nice, but again, open it up, it helps. Again, it's up to you. You don't have to use a tag top and punch. I just like using things that I've got. Alright, then I'm going to round the corners on all 4 of these. There we go. Must be getting full. Yes, it's getting full. So it doesn't matter which way up that is once you've rounded the corners. And we're going to pop our little saying, which we've done that, peace and joy, and the other one says, hope in this season is bright and beautiful. Now I'm using pecan pie because that's this colour here. Oops, I didn't do the corners on this one. So I'm putting that fairly close to the top so that they can just about be seen. I'll leave that out for a moment because we're going to do a little bit more in a second. I'm going to leave that for a few seconds just to dry. Pop that onto there. Now we're going to actually cut a little angle on our ribbon, if my scissors will cut. I need a new pair of scissors, I think. To get this effect here, so that this is over the top, you need to thread from the back forward. So popping them through there. Get through the hole, come on. Oops. And then over the top and through the loop, and you get that look across the front. If you want that look, you do it the opposite way round. To me that always looks a little bit messy. Oh, they didn't cut very well, did they? Let's cut them again. Let's cut these ones so they're nice and neat as well. Okay, so they can then go on the inside of our card, like so. They will go into the pockets, and you can write on them if you want, or you can leave them blank, just so that they've got like extra little messages. So pop that on the side. We're going to put our message onto the back of the card. So I have my ink again, and this time I'm going to put here, friends and family are the true gifts of Christmas. I love that font. It's really beautiful, isn't it? Okay, that's dried. So we know which way our card's going to open, like so. So we know that our writing panel is going onto the back here. And I deliberately made the writing panel that little bit smaller so you can actually see the designer series paper around the sides. So that's the back of the card for doing our writing on. So all we've got left is to actually do the front, and I didn't bring any embellishments over here, you believe. So I will do them, and when you see the photographs you will see what they look like. Okay, let's put the pin in my, where have I done with the pin? Oh dear, I don't know what I've done with the pin. It's probably fallen on the floor, so, oh no, here it is. Let's put the pin in my glue, and then let's bring in some dimensionals. This is, I'm using the small dimensionals because they stick to my finger better. Because this is a smaller section on the back here. For these ones I'm going to use a small one in the middle. I'm actually going to use a small one on all three pieces as well. There we go. And I will get some things and put on here, but not while we're filming. They will go on after. I can't believe I forgot to bring something over. I'm not going to go rummaging now. Alright, so I'm going to put my Christmas through the middle like so. And then one holly up the top here. And the other one underneath. So what do you think? Do you like my card? I hope you do. If you've enjoyed today's project and you'd like a copy of the written tutorial, please head down the bottom here to Diane for Stamping, Crafting and Tutorials. There you'll find the written tutorial for this on my Facebook group page. It stands up. It is an A5 card, so it fits into a regular envelope. These will fold over because don't forget an envelope is a tiny bit higher and wider than these, so they will fold over out of the way. Or you can trim them down even more if you wished. I've thought that was a lovely card. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I did. There's my three versions. Oops, this is the one with the longer panel. This panel here is a 5 1/4 inches. So that to me it's just too long. I think I like the shorter panel so much better. It actually allows you to see the inside of the card more. But this one I did, and I put the little elves, I don't know what they call, gnomes. And so this was done with all retired product. This one is done with new product, which is available in the online store. And then the one we've done today. So if you've enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. Please leave me a comment. I'm grateful for all the comments, good or bad, because I mean everybody likes different things. So I'm not offended if you want to tell me that you don't like my card. And I will see you again next week. Bye for now.